Excellent!
I think we're live again. I gotta keep an eye on that and make sure it doesn't tank.
Right.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Awesome Hardware.
To Awesome Hardware.
That's what I said.
You said to the Awesome Hardware. You almost said show again.
I
can feel it.
No,
I can smell it on you.
No, I just said Awesome Hardware.
Okay. We'll play that back.
The Awesome Hardware.
No.
Okay. Hello everyone. This is actually the second half of a live show. If you're watching live right now, thanks for sticking with us. We've been having a few streaming problems, but looking good for now.
We'll get that patched up for you.
But if you want to watch the first half of this live show, it should, and you're watching this in the future and not live, it should be on Kyle's channel. That's our plan at least. But if you are live, we're going to continue from now. And this show is all about technology as well as just random stuff that we decided to talk about.
Yep.
Kyle's YouTube channel is Awesome Sauce Network. My YouTube channel is Paul's Hardware. And together we are
Awesome
Hardware.
It's the worst high five.
Man, went way better when we were rehearsing. Okay. Fantastic.
Great. So, all right. So, in case you guys...
I noticed you, Paul. I see you there. Okay.
Oh,
sorry, what?
So, in case they missed it, if they haven't watched part one, for whatever, some people like to watch things out of order.
Oh, yeah.
We're breaking things into segments. So, on my first half of the video on my channel, I had 4 different segments that I went through. And now Paul's going to go through his 4 segments that he's kind of customized and made up in the last couple weeks.
Hopefully.
So he's been, as long as the internet doesn't drop too much.
The first segment is continuing news. So we already did some news from Kyle, but I actually picked my news stories first, which means they're better.
I know, you beat me to it.
But let's just jump right into it here. This is actually a German website, and it's not popping up with with translate. So that's cool though. I'm gonna translate anyway.
Oh, it's okay.
Google.
Specs are always the same in every language.
Google Translate. Google Translate. Give me a website.
Give me a translate.
Isn't it supposed to do the website when you do it that way? There we go. Translating.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's just German anyway.
It's just Germanish. Germanish.
Oh, it's taking forever.
Gibberish. I was with your internet, man.
I don't know. Whatever.
You have Time Warner?
No, it's Verizon Fios. Okay. We're just going to skip. You guys are going to have to read German. That's cool. All right. I wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming AMD Radeon 300 series graphics cards because I think that's something that's fairly exciting.
Yes.
Now, there hasn't been much news on this actually in the past week or so, but there have been leaks, and they are expected soon. We've heard Q1, Q2. If it's Q1, that's January, February, March. So we're thinking they might come out next March, but you never know. We might see them in April. But I did want to go over what we do know about them so far, or at least some of the information. So this is from the German website 3dcenter.org. Put together a nice little list right here. So first off, at the very top, we have the Radeon R9 395X2.
Sweet.
395X2. So just like the 295X2, this is going to be the flagship dual GPU on the same card. The code name is Bermuda. It's using 2 Fiji GPUs. And Fiji is the code name of the new R9 390 and 390X, which are the successors to the 290 and 290X.
Gotcha.
So that's their enthusiast level. The cool thing about the 395X2, at least right now, there's rumors that it's going to be using a Cooler Master cooling water cooling system. So like the 295X2 had an Ace Tech built one.
Right.
There's rumors that Cooler Master is working on this one for them.
Very cool. And that's the reference design cooler?
Yeah, that would be the reference design for the 395X2. There wasn't much. I mean, Asus came out with a 295X2 custom.
Yeah.
Other than that, there wasn't too much besides the 295X2 built-in cooler. But I mean, it did a good job cooling. It was much better than the 290X cooler for sure. But GCN 1.3. 8,192 stream processors, 2 4 gig, 2x4 gig memory buffers, so 4 gigs per GPU, and 4 gigs per GPU. I can't complain about 4 gigs per GPU.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then there's other stuff there, but it's in German. They're also talking about that these new GPUs are going to be the fancy ones that are stacking the memory like on top of the GPU itself to make it as close as possible. Yeah. I'm still waiting to hear more confirmed information about that. But But who knows? If that is the case, and
is
it makes
this
it
the
faster,
type
then
of
that's
memory
good.
that is supposed to be usable by both cards when they're in Crossfire X? Is that
No,
what,
no,
that's
that's something different. That's what they're talking about. Might be possible with like DirectX 12.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And so
Got that
do
confused.
some of the efficiency improvements and that sort of thing. No, this is actually taking the GPU memory, which used to be scattered like kind of near the GPU, and actually
Right.
stacking it right on top.
So that it just maybe.
So
Right.
you get the effective memory frequency, which is like 7 or 8,000,
Yeah.
when the actual memory frequency is like 2,000 or 1750.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to do the same kind of inflationary marketing speak
Gotcha.
with the bit rate.
Pick the bigger number.
And they're saying, or maybe the architecture is that much different that that's how they need to identify it. But
That would be interesting.
still pretty cool. And then apart from that, we have the R9 380 and 380X, which are going to be the 290 and 290X rebranded.
Okay.
So just like they took the 7970 and 7950 and made them the 280 and 280X, or flip-flop that, they're doing the same thing.
Okay.
Which is good because probably when you buy a 290X as a 380X, it'll probably cost less. We have a new Tonga-based GPU in the 370 and 370X range. I'm hoping that one's a good. I'm hoping that one might give the. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say where they're going to put a 370 and a 370X at this point, but it better at least kick the crap out of the GTX 960. That'd be cool.
I think it might.
They are saying they're either going to have 2 or 4 gig memory interfaces for those. 256-bit memory interface. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then, of course, at the very bottom, we got the R7 360 and 360X, which are rebrands of Pitcairn-based GPUs. But
Right.
just very exciting. I'm hoping to see that we're going to see new stuff from AMD on the GPU side very soon, because that is probably one of the most exciting things for me, at least, to get excited about from AMD.
Yeah. Prepare for many video cards to become obsolete.
Yeah, I like their APUs and stuff, but I
too.
personally don't have as much use for them. Just because yeah. All right, but let's move on. I have more news to talk about.
Sweet.
Moving right along. Pushing the right buttons, right? We're still streaming, right? Yes, we are.
I think your next article is about awesome hardware.
It is. Continuing to speak of awesome hardware, as is the name of our show and such, Intel's Skylake S desktop CPUs are expected at IDF 2015 in August.
Sweet.
That's sweet. This is actually, I was reading these are pushed back. Now Kyle was asking that these are called Skylake S, and he was like, are these the Dash S SKUs like Intel used? And this is Skylake S.
This is purely.
So this is referring to the family, which is Dash S, and I don't have an explanation for why it's Dash S. I've heard like Haswell Dash E, which is enthusiast platform,
Right.
Dash S mainstream. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know why there's a Dash S on there, but
Does this mean there's also going to be a Skylake non-S?
possibly. I mean, I don't see why they would need to put a Dash S if there was something
no
else
Skylake.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys hear a deep rumbling sound right now, it's a train.
My stomach. Yeah. It's a train.
When we're live streaming, there's not much we can do about that. Okay, but yeah, Skylake. So Skylake is 14 nanometer, which Broadwell is also 14 nanometer, but Skylake's actually a new architecture. The interesting thing about this is they're saying that it's going to launch in August, which is only a month or two after
Broadwell.
June. Well, 2 months after June to be specific, which is when Broadwell's
Broadwell
supposed to launch. So
Yeah.
this is they kind of seem to be like, I don't know. Broadwell, the benefit is you can drop it straight into a Z97 board right
Yeah.
now. So if you've got a Z97 board, it's an upgrade. But I feel like that's going to take a little wind out of Broadwell's sails when it launches.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be like, well, Skylake's coming right up.
And it has a newer chipset
Yeah.
and a newer socket, so it
And-
just seems more current gen.
Yeah, and if Skylake, so Skylake's going to be on, hold on.
1150.
Socket
1151.
1151, the 100 series chipset motherboards, which is like 170. Gosh, I still haven't memorized all those. But the cool thing about Skylake S when it does launch is they're not just doing what they've done before and launching the low end SKUs or launching like mobile stuff. they're coming out with a full launch right off the bat. They're going to have 95 watt K SKUs.
Nice.
So fully unlocked overclocking parts, as well as 65 watt and 35 watt SKUs.
Very nice.
So all the way down the line, even for lower power systems. And then for the mobile side, they have Skylake-U, which is going to be their BGA 28 watt and 15 watt chips that are made for mobile devices, or mostly tablets or laptops, I should say. Yeah. For tablets and stuff, they have Broswell, but that's
Broswell.
Oh, which is their Broadwell and Haswell together.
And Haswell, yeah.
Which they've already done. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. Skylake S is coming out, and yeah, it's gonna be weird talking about Broadwell. But the cool thing about Skylake S coming out is at this time is that it means that in June at Computex, that they will have 100 series chipset motherboards that we can look at. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Kind of interested to see what's on the table for those.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to my next story. Wait, I gotta push the button. Oops, wrong button.
What could it be, Paul?
My next story.
Blow us away.
Okay, so Samsung has announced production of the world's first 14 nanometer FinFET SoCs. So SoC is a system on a chip.
So for like mobile phones and tablets and stuff.
14 nanometers, very small lithography manufacturing process. Smaller lithography means it can usually use less power. So they've actually done this. They're using FinFET technology, which is pretty cool. That's the same stuff that Intel started with a few years back. It says that they've gained a significant competitive edge in the semiconductor and mobile industries. But they're actually, the production that they're actually doing with this is for their own chip that they designed in-house called the Exynos 7 Octa chip. Octa seems to make me think it might be 8-core, possibly. And then the rumor here is that this is what's going to go into the Galaxy S6.
Aha.
So that'd be cool. The Galaxy S6 certainly needs a kick in the pants because they need to do something to kind of bounce back from the S5 being, I know, a disappointing launch for them. Did not do nearly as well as they were hoping it to.
Mm-hmm.
But I know a lot of people have talked about the Galaxy S6, and it should be 64-bit.
Cool.
Is what I've heard, and I think that's going to be kind of the, if you're kind of a tech geek and you're into phones and stuff as well, I think that's going to be the next trend for phones is people want to get a 64-bit phone.
Yeah.
Which is good. 64-bit, it's more efficient. You just it's gonna take a little while for stuff to change over from 32-bit to 64-bit. You'll have to have workarounds for short period of time. All right, I have one more news story to talk about. I'm sorry to end my news section on a not as happy of a note. But
what a dick.
This is from Maximum PC. Signs point to the NSA embedding spy software in consumer hard drives.
Oh yeah.
This is fantastic. So, all right, now first off, disclaimer here right from the get-go. The source of this is Kaspersky Labs. They're based in Russia, and whereas they may have a vested interest in pointing out security flaws in, say, the NSA or certain ways of, like, say, the way the U.S. government would do security. That's still that grain of salt that Kaspersky has not always been known to publish the most legitimate stuff. But they're pretty good. All right, so the hard drives that have been mentioned here, the hard drive brands are Western Digital, HGST, Seagate, Maxtor, Hitachi, and Toshiba.
That's practically all of them.
Pretty much all of them. And then Reuters, who actually published a report after Kaspersky published it, or picked up after Kaspersky published it, also mentioned OCZ, Micron, Corsair, Mushkin, OWC, Samsung, which that's a lot of the SSD manufacturers there. Although only hard drives are mentioned in the report, SSD manufacturers are possibly also
fallen victim to this.
An issue, yeah. And the thing of this is firmware. This is a firmware virus or vulnerability, and as a result, they're saying that this is really high level. This is not something that was easy. And actually, I want to go back to the other report because the only joy I got out of this article was some of the code names they're using for some of this stuff. So according to Kaspersky, the Equation Group is who actually might be responsible for this. Not the NSA, but who knows for sure. I guess the NSA's might be involved somehow. But the Equation Group is one of the most sophisticated cyber attack groups on the planet. They have a penchant for encryption algorithms and obfuscation strategies, and routinely use sophisticated methods throughout various operations. Just very, very, very dire, some of the things they're saying here. But I want to get to the code names. So, as laid out in the report, the process by which targets are spied on is complex and interesting. In many cases, it begins with an implant Kaspersky calls double fantasy. The
Really?
implant confirms if a victim is interesting. If so, the malware is upgraded to the equation drug.
Wow.
So first you get double fantasy, then you upgrade to the equation drug, and then, and only then, if you're approved for gold member status, you can get... Oh, no, there goes the
Okay, here
camera
it comes.
again.
Here it comes.
Kyle's going to rescue it. Don't worry, everyone. We're still live. We've only lost our video feed.
Here we go. Here we go.
Thanks. You guys are awesome. Thank you for bearing with some of the quirks of our first live stream.
Thank me. I'm the one getting down
Thanks,
dirty.
Kyle. The other thing is, like, there's not enough room at this desk for Kyle to sit here, so we have this other table, but then there's another table there, so anyway. Where was I? So if you get Equation Drug, then you can get upgraded to the most complex espionage platform called Greyfish. Greyfish. I don't know, it just sounds very ominous. So yeah, Russian researchers expose breakthrough in U.S. spying program. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on that too much. But yeah, so stop using hard drives, everyone. I don't know what else to say.
This is all a big, what do you call it thing?
Or maybe just try not to be interesting, because it seems like you being flagged as an interesting person or entity is one of the things that yeah. Okay. Moving along though.
Okay.
Moving right along. I have some. All right. So I have another segment here. That's the end of the news segment, the introductory segment to Awesome Hardware Paul Side 2.
Beautiful.
Thank you. My next segment is called Sword Fight. We come up with silly names for our segments.
I think you were a bit too
Like
inspired
Sword
by
Fight.
that double fantasy code name.
I was going to go with Double Fantasy. That's my next segment. All right.
A little concerned about what's this next segment about?
So the idea here is that I have a few topics that we're going to discuss here, and these are somewhat controversial. At least, you know, there's more than one side to each one. And Kyle and I are going to take opposing viewpoints on the subject at hand. At the same time, I have a couple straw polls that you guys can go and vote on as well, so that when we're done talking, maybe we can look and see what you guys think of the specific thing that we are talking about.
All
right. So starting with the first one, the question is, this is about console gaming platforms as compared to PC gaming platforms. Here
Okay.
is some means of discussion. So Kyle,
Okay.
in your personal opinion, what were the things I wrote down there?
I'm actually going to stray away from.
Oh, that's
some of
fine.
these.
That's
All right,
good.
competition. You mentioned competition in
Mhm.
here, which I think is a fair argument. Ease of development, absolutely. Entry-level gaming versus PC gaming, which can be intimidating. I'd say that's probably the one that I would ride the most. Is
So why is it ease of development? Why is that a thing for consoles?
because Mantle.
Because Mantle, it's
Baked in
on
nutshell.
a closed platform where the hardware is predetermined. It's
Right.
easier to develop.
Yeah.
That's the argument there.
So what I was gonna say is, like, not everyone is looking for the enthusiast grade experience for gaming, right?
Mhm.
Some people just want something that works out of the box, that requires 5 minutes of setup. And granted, yeah, you could just buy a computer and start installing games on it and whatnot. But I think it all kind of goes back to an element of nostalgia as well.
Yes.
People who grew up on consoles, like I grew up on the NES, like I never touched a PC game until I was like in high school. So I guess there's an element of nostalgia to it. Some people just like the feeling of a controller, and you can use a controller for PC too. Like, you know, anything that a console can do, a PC can do better for the most part. I think is safe to say in a lot of areas. But I still do think there's something to be said for something that anyone with a bit of mental capacity can set up without too much maintenance. Like I know, like I maintain my PC all the time, and that's why it still boots up just as quick and loads all the applications just as fast as the day I built it, 3 years ago. But you look at most people around you, most people that you know who aren't necessarily as tech savvy, and they're like, I don't know why my computer's so slow. I've only had it for a year, and it's like they just don't know how to properly maintain a PC. And if someone's just looking for a no-brainer gaming experience where it requires very little maintenance, then a console is okay for that, I think. It's kind of like how some people prefer a Mac because they don't want to take the time, they don't have the time to invest to learn how to actually properly maintain your computer. I just want it to run, and I don't care, about achieving a higher level of functionality out of my device. I just want it to work all the time with minimal effort invested. So I think for that reason, it kind of applies to PCs as well. But I don't know. That's my main point.
I think I followed most of that.
Yeah, it was a little bit convoluted.
So if I may, now Kyle's playing devil's advocate here because I think most of us already know the obvious response to this one, which is that so the argument here is what do consoles do to gaming? That's kind of where I come at it from, and to my mind, what consoles do to gaming a lot of the time is they can hold progression of gaming back, specifically when it comes to the advancement of certain techniques that you can use within games when it comes to improving the graphics or improving the way that you interact with the game itself. Consoles, for instance, like if you want to release a peripheral on a console, you're going to have a hard time doing it. I mean, granted you can, but in order to get it like approved and everything, you have to go through a lot more difficult development of that process, and you have to get it you have to run it by Microsoft if you want to put it on Xbox, you have to run it by Sony if you want to put it on the PlayStation. Whereas with the PC, it's a lot more open for exploration. There's nobody doing an Oculus Rift on a console right now. It's all on the PC and that sort of thing. But I think really for me what it comes down to is all the PCs, all the gaming PCs that are out there can have the capability to play just about any console game that's out there. They can do it. It's just a matter of some of these closed environments that keep that for, like, the reason I can't play GTA 5 on the PC right now is, well, granted, Rockstar wanted to take longer to polish it or whatever the heck they wanted to do, but it's not because my PC is incapable of playing that game. Right. So that's why I think a lot of us would agree that sometimes it's frustrating to see consoles with especially when they're titles that a lot of us really enjoy. Like, I'd love to be able to play a lot of the Nintendo titles on the PC, and not have to use an emulator and feel like I'm breaking the law or something like that in order to do it. But yeah, I think those are kind of the main reasons. The difficulty that you'd have in expanding the platform, the console limited games, and then of course console gamers are they're just naturally, they don't smell bad. They don't smell good. I think
they don't smell good?
No, I was just trying to throw in a random thing there at the end. But let's see what you guys thought of this. I want to see. This is the first time we've done this, and I
wonder what the results are.
I'm curious. Haha. Oh wait, you guys can't see. There we go. All right, we got some votes. The votes was about 70% no. Consoles should be done away with entirely, but some folks say yes, we do need consoles for some reasons, and I do think there are some reasons we need them. I will say that and as an entry-level gaming platform, it's difficult to compete with if you want something simple. But they've also taken a lot of that away in recent times with, like, the 0-day updates and stuff that you need for games.
Right.
Like, it used to be, get a console game, pop it in, start playing it. Yeah. And a PC game I have to download, I have to update, I have to patch, I have to get the drivers, whatever.
Yeah.
Console games can be like that now too, which is, it has its goods and its bads. All right.
It's true. Although I will say that it kind of automatically installs all that stuff for you, whereas like with a PC you might have to do a bit more manual work to find the driver, which is...
But if it's a matter of waiting...
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. Next question
Good
for us
topic.
to debate
Good
here.
topic. Yes.
This is a good one. I like this one. What... Oh wait, I need to have this straw poll.
Here that it's not your favorite. says not your favorite. Argue
I'm
which one's
just
superior.
I'm just trying to phrase our speech in such a way that we're not trying to like sugarcoat it and be like, I like this, but it's okay if you like something else. I want it to phrase it in such a way that people
We have
get
to justify
mad. People get mad at us.
I see.
That's the point here.
Okay.
People get angry.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, okay. I am going to argue that RPG MMOs are the best genre.
Really?
Yes.
I've never known that you even played one of those.
I haven't.
Why?
But again,
Why?
this is about which one I think is superior.
You're just
not
saving it
my
for the
favorite.
You're that's
Actually, okay. So that's why I'm confused. Like, can I argue? Is this just for the sake of arguing, or debate, I should say, or do I really have to pick the one that's my favorite?
You should have some vested interest in it. You should.
Okay, okay. There's a reason why I think like World of Warcraft has like at one point had just 6 million subscriptions or something like that.
I think peak they were at like 14 million or something.
14 million.
That. Yeah.
Okay, I think there's something to be said about a following of that size. I don't know. I always felt like RPG MMOs were one of those genres that I wanted to like more. If that makes sense. Like I always wished that I liked them more, and I don't hate them. I mean, I played Star Wars: Old Republic for quite some time with like the old New Egg crew and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had a blast doing that. You know, level capped and everything, and I had a really great time. That was like the first one I really got into, but never really played another one after that. And I think what made that game playable for me more than anything, other than the fact that it was Star Wars themed, was how it was so community driven, and it was so like it's an MMO, so you're playing with like your buddies and even people that you just run into. It's like walking to work, you know, morning commute, and just like meeting people on the subway or meeting people, you know, on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden these connections and these relationships are formed. I've never formed a relationship from Battlefield 4.
That's true.
I don't talk to anyone that I've ever played with randomly and randomly shot in Battlefield 4.
A positive. You never formed a positive
A
relationship.
positive relationship.
Plenty of
terrible ones.
plenty of people I want to kill.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
So I don't know. I think that it's so community driven. I think that's such a huge appeal for so many people.
Yeah.
Especially since it kind of fills certain aspects of your life to where, like, you know, sometimes people perceive video games as being like you're being sucked out of reality, and you know you're not getting any social interaction.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's just the opposite with something like an MMO, is because you are connecting with people, you are having full conversations. And I've even seen, like, I know friends of mine who are huge MMO players that will have like full like deep conversations in game with their friends, or you know, people that they've met on the internet. Your wedding, you invited some guy that you were playing MMO World of Warcraft with, right?
Several people actually.
Several people
from our guild.
From your guild
went to our wedding.
No other game genre has done that, I think, as far as I know.
That's
as far as
true.
what I've witnessed in my personal experience. I think that is huge. Like the ability to reach through the screen and touch someone else and make that connection, I think is. I mean, you just can't argue with that.
So
I don't think anything you say next will top that.
So you make a compelling argument, and since I was going to choose RPG MMO originally,
Ha!
but since I want to argue with you, and that's supposed to be the point of this whole segment,
Yes.
I've made a last-minute audible, and RTSs. RTSs are the best video games.
Oh snap!
That is the best video game genre, unequivocally. And the reason for that is because I like Wolverine. Let me explain.
Damn it, you win!
Let me explain.
Damn it!
Wolverine. Okay, Wolverine as a superhero is the best superhero, and this is not because he's like a Superman or whatever. It's because of his fighting ability. If you look at his fighting ability, if you go back to the Marvel the trading cards that they had, he had a fighting ability of 7, which is the top you can get. That's like playing that's like playing like 12 chess master computers in your head at the same time and beating them. That was the equivalent that they made there, right? So stay with me here. Stay with me. That's what an RTS is like. You look at like the actions per second that they have to do with an RTS. You look at the management that you have to do. You're not controlling one character that you run around and level up and do whatever with. You're controlling a freaking army. You're controlling dozens of thousands, sometimes hundreds. I don't want to say thousands. There are some where you control thousands, but you're controlling hundreds of units, moving them across an entire map. You're basically like a god of war, ordering your troops to different areas of the map. And then when you take, like, if you look at like high-level StarCraft 2 play, for example, the macro and the micro that they do in there, it's fascinating. I used to play StarCraft when in like early 2000s. So that's the last time I would say I could go on and play competitively. And I was decent. I was like okay back then. I look at some of the guys who play now, and I'm like, dear Lord, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they can be controlling so much stuff over here at their base and building and leveling up and teching up and all that kind of thing, while at the same time like kiting a little thing over here with these other units and all
There's
the
a
min-max
reason
stuff
why
is,
it's like a national sport in South Korea.
There is.
Rent out full
And
stadiums
there,
to watch two
and
kids.
thank you for driving my point home. No other video game can fill a auditorium with like 250,000 people like StarCraft can in South Korea.
Yeah, but none of those guys went to your wedding, so
That is true.
your wife would.
That is
agree
true.
with
But
me.
what did you guys think? What did you guys think? I'm very curious.
Let
to know.
us know.
This is an interesting one because there's lots. Oh wow, this is a pretty tough one. This is a pretty close one actually.
Yeah. What do we got?
So FPS 1 with 12 votes.
I figured it would. Okay.
Actually, RPG single player got pretty high up there. I will say
I
I've
could see that.
had
I could see that.
so many good experiences with
Yeah.
single player RPGs.
Me too.
The whole Final Fantasy well, not the whole Final Fantasy series, but the ones
A lot of
that I
the
actually
good
played
ones.
a lot.
Yeah.
I'm glad that my last one, how dare you lump my favorite genre into the last possible response? It got 6 votes, so some potpourri out there for those of you. Wow, RTS only got a couple votes, so I was minimal there. I didn't vote, so technically RTS should have 3 votes, and
RPG
technically
has 5.
RPG MMO should have 5 votes, but that still doesn't change their place.
True.
All right, well, FPS, according to y'all, is the best video game genre, so I guess...
And I will say that FPS, out of all those genres that you listed, Paul, is my personal favorite.
Yes.
That's the one I personally argue.
It is a lot of fun. FPS has that visceral immediacy, like the it's got the adrenaline factor.
Yeah, it does.
But RTSs can get up there too with like how fast things can get sometimes.
Yeah.
MOBAs
experience.
I think are also up there. All right, so before we end this segment, the sword fight segment, in case you guys forgot what it's called, we have a lightning round.
Okay.
So for no apparent reason except that I brilliantly tied this in, the lightning round is superhero themed.
Okay.
So in this one, I'm just going to fire off 2 superheroes.
Okay.
You tell me which between the 2 that you choose.
Okay.
And then I will also tell you mine. I'm sorry I don't have straw polls for these set up, but you guys can let us know in the chat if you can think of any other 2 superheroes that you have to choose which you think is better. All right. So first,
do we have to argue it or do we just say
no, this is lightning. We don't
Lightning.
argue. All right. Batman or Superman?
Batman?
I'm gonna say Superman. Wolverine or Beast?
Wolverine.
Wolverine, of course. Hulk or Thor?
Hulk.
Hulk. That's a tough one.
Hulk.
I want to go Thor. I have to go
No,
Thor.
man. Took all the Avengers to take on Hulk. Come on.
That's wow. That's a tough one, actually. All right, Wonder Woman or Catwoman?
Catwoman.
Catwoman?
Yeah.
I gotta go Wonder Woman because my wife is named after her.
Fair enough.
Cyclops or Gambit?
Gambit.
Gambit? I'd go with Gambit too. He's smooth.
Cyclops is a douche.
When you're talking lesser known, or not lesser known, but just slightly lesser known
Yeah.
X-Men characters. All right, do we have any suggestions from the chat?
Oh, that was all of them. Okay.
That was all. That's a lightning round. We went through really fast.
Yeah, I guess we did. Next time we'll have like 100 prepared.
Oh yeah, we
Take
got
2
Gambit.
minutes.
We have Wolverine, Catwoman. Well, we got a few Wonder Women.
Okay, a lot of them
Strider
lined up.
likes Wonder Woman.
All right.
Good old Wonder Woman.
Someone said Black Panther.
Everyone loves
who wasn't
Gambit.
even on the list.
Black Panther. Yeah, Cyclops. Cyclops always came off as a bit of an elitist.
Yeah.
And he's always like, Jean Grey's my girlfriend.
You can whip me.
Yeah.
You hairy bastard.
Okay.
Someone said cat women.
Catwoman.
All of them.
All right. Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. I have 2 more segments, and then we will end this show. The last segment I'm going to tease right now. It's going to be Q&A, so you can tweet to our Twitters. We have our Twitters there, right? Yeah, you can tweet to our Twitters some questions for us if you have them. We'll do some random question answering at the end of the show. And yeah, Yeah. But before then, my next segment is called What's Your Favorite? Which is basically where I ask you what's your favorite in a few categories. That's
We were running out of
pretty
ideas
much
towards
it.
the end of the show.
Was
I like
running-
it. I like it. So, all right. So, what categories do we have, Paul?
We have a few categories. The first segment is going to be about some tech and some games. So we just want to know what your favorite thing is in these categories, and we'd love to
Okay.
hear what you guys' favorite things are
Sure.
in the chat too.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite game that you're currently playing right now?
Evolve.
Evolve. Okay.
I have to say, it's really the only game that I'm playing right now.
Okay.
So that's pretty much a shoe-in.
I would probably have to say Evolve 2. That is the game I've played probably the most over the past week or two, and I have had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
I will say I'm terrible so far at playing the monster.
Me too.
I played as the monster last night. I jumped into a game and I got killed so quickly.
Yeah.
And I thought it was one of those games where I thought I was doing good. I was sneaking. I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, they don't know where I am.
Right.
I was trying to like eat some stuff. I hadn't even gotten to level 2.
Yeah.
And suddenly I start getting hit. And I'm like, oh
That's
crap!
the
And then
worst.
they were right on me, and then they just destroyed
Are
me.
you
so.
are you smelling? Are you smelling?
Yeah, I'm
all the
smelling. I
time?
mean, I know the skills. It's just, yeah. I need more practice with it.
I think that's why Monster is almost the funnest for me, because I feel like it requires the most skill in a way, because it's 4 versus 1, right?
Yeah.
You have to outsmart 4 individuals, as opposed to being on a team and having your homies back you up. But other than that, it's also the most, like, it gives you the most adrenaline, because you are the one being hunted, technically.
yeah.
And I think there's a lot of energy pumping because of that.
It's like Predator.
Much tension.
Actually, it is kind of like Predator.
So, wow. Yeah, it kind of is.
Oh, they should have an evolved monster that's like a Predator.
Ooh.
It's like you're not all big and stuff, but you...
I don't think they do, though. Maybe DLC.
Yeah, but then they make you pay for it. That is one of the negatives about Evolve.
True.
All right, let's move on, though. Next question. Favorite game of all time?
Super Smash Bros. Melee.
All time?
All time.
Is that... Wait, so when... was that a...
GameCube.
That was GameCube
Yep.
that came out on?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. That
Wait.
is my favorite game of all time.
Would you stream Super Smash Brothers if you could do it reasonably and not have to pay Nintendo your streaming money?
Yes, I would.
That'd
I
be
don't
fun.
know. Would
That'd be fun.
Nintendo flip their shit if I tried? They probably would.
You could stream Super Smash Brothers.
Could monetize it.
You could monetize it.
Oh.
What would happen is they would claim it.
Ah.
The money would go to them. You sign up with them, and then they kick you back. I think you get 60%
Wow.
of the actual money, unless you decide to make only Nintendo games on your channel.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Then you
Right.
can get 70%.
Wow.
It's a
So
great
generous
deal.
of them.
It's a great deal.
Jesus.
All right.
What about yours? What's your favorite game of all time? You have to answer too, don't
Excuse
you?
me. My favorite game of all time. You know, I probably should have had an answer ready for that. Wow.
You can only pick one.
I can only pick one.
The only game you'll ever play for the rest of your life. It's the one game you'll never get sick of.
I want to say I'm gonna go by hours invested, but it's actually difficult to say. So I'll pick Civ 4,
Okay.
Civilization 4, because I've played a lot of that game,
Yeah.
and it is one of those I feel like I could pick up and start playing it again. The only reason I don't play it very much is every game you jump into is like it's like, oh, here's 48 hours of my life that I'll be investing into this game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII, Black Dragon said Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII is definitely really high up there. Final Fantasy X was another one I was considering. And then Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Vice City is one of my favorite Grand Theft Auto games. Those were some very close runners up there.
Nice.
Modern Warfare 2, that's a good one. Halo 2, also a good one. Nice. Doom, yeah. If you have a game that you just like back when you were able to play games,
Yeah.
like a lot,
Right.
like irresponsibly a lot, yeah.
All right. One other game I wanted to mention.
What's that?
That I kind of forgot about. Resident Evil 4.
Oh, okay.
One of my other favorite games. Also launched on, I think that launched on GameCube as well as PlayStation 2 in its day.
Yeah.
but just I think there's also like a huge cult following around it. But it was just like it was the first Resident Evil that lost the funky camera angles. Like remember like in the first 3, like you'd be running and then the camera angle would switch and it'd be like you'd be in a different like forced perspective weird thing.
That was annoying.
That was the first Resident Evil where they had like over the shoulder camera following you. It was a lot easier to navigate. Just amazing game.
Strider and TMG are with you on Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, one of the best survival horrors.
Also lots of Final Fantasy love out there. I really like the Final Fantasy games. All right, next question though. Favorite? I think I'm going to skip the second half of this because I feel like we've been going on for long enough.
Okay.
And some of the second half of these questions are just stupid anyway.
All right, we want to do some lightning?
No. Let's do favorite system. The favorite system that you have ever built.
Got to be my first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The white
600T.
600T.
2600K. GTX 670.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just because that I was looking forward to building my first PC for so long. Like when I started working at Newegg and like started getting into computers and you were showing me things, I was like, I really got the itch.
Oh yeah.
And as soon as I scratched it, it was just like such a huge relief. I was like, yeah. Like I became a meme, and like I remember like turning it on for the first time. You know, it sounds super cliche because it is, but like a Christmas tree lighting up right after you've wired it up. And I feel like every other system I've built from that point on has been, some of them have just blown me away or been really awesome. But I always feel like I'm always still chasing that first high that I got.
Oh yeah.
You know, from that first PC. The second one I built right after that was also a really nice one. Unfortunately, it was for a video. The most epic. It's called the most epic video, or the most epic PC build video.
Oh yeah. I remember that one. No, it's a portable one, right?
No, it's not a portable one. I did it in the Arc Committee
I remember.
Fractal. That one was.
It's all dramatic music and
dramatic music. It's like me with like the little camcorder. It's like a little soccer mom camcorder I was using.
So difficult for me.
And when I drink the water, I'm like sort of.
Just need some water. Refreshment.
So tight.
And I'm leaning really close to calling that Thunder Snow. Because I think that would be pretty funny. Thunder Snow and Arctic Panther, I think.
Arctic Panther would be great.
Arctic Panther. Or I might just call it like Thunder Snow, Arctic Panther. That would...
Wow.
Like an Arctic Panther named Thunder Snow.
He's got a fancy name.
That would work. Or just, you know,
two-parter.
I like making names just ridiculously long and convoluted.
The third. You should add on the third.
So that's anything I say now is almost definitely going to be supplanted by that. I'll say my X58 system that I built back in the day was pretty nice. I was happy with that one. I got some excellent deals. I got the motherboard for $5, and I fixed LGA pins in that, so that was a win.
Did someone said that we lost the stream?
i7-920. No, looks like it's still good.
Oh, okay. Oh, it must be just them.
Yeah, Hug Me John, I think it might just be you because it looks like we're still okay. Oh no, it went down for a moment, but it came back. It was just a hiccup. Still looks okay. All right, but yeah, it's probably going to be the new system I'm building. All right, last question, which I also...
Oh, shutter.
Oh no, the shutters.
Here we go.
Everyone enjoy
We
this.
should time it every time it comes off to see what my record speed is for turning it back
That
on.
would be good.
Like a little mini game.
We'll be able to look back at the stream and determine that.
See that ending really badly too. Just knocking over everything.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
The last question I had was your favorite sub $100 case.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Well, I feel bad about mine. Because the one I want to choose is one that I haven't actually worked with. Kyle, now they're going to see you vaping and they're going to get mad.
They won't see shit. Unsub, unfollow.
That's probably the first thing, if the stream just picked up again, that's probably the first thing everyone heard. Was you saying that. Alright.
Out of context quotes by Kyle.
We're back again. Sorry, everyone. I believe we're back again. According to the green over here versus it being red before, we should be back again.
Sorry.
Strider says we're back.
Yay.
Thank you. Hooray. Alright, so Enermax ECA3290A-G. Corsair Spec 02. It's a good one. C70. Kitty likes the C70. The R4. Define R4 is a great one. I would say Define R5, but it's supposed to be like, what, 120? So I think
Yeah.
that's out of the category.
Yeah.
The Enthoo Pro finally loaded. That's when I realized their internet was dropping again. I was trying to pull up the Enthoo Pro. And it is $100, yeah. So I feel like of all the cases I've seen out there, that's the one for if I was like it has to be less than 100. That's the one I'd probably reach out for and give a shot to. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Verizon. I actually am going to contact them and be like, hey, I'm trying to do some live streaming. I have 50 down and 50 up. Should be plenty of bandwidth. Okay. Moving along though, last section is Q&A.
Heyo.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna answer some questions. We're just gonna take some random questions and talk about some random stuff here.
Q&A from them, right?
They're so
queuing.
you guys ask us questions.
Your face, your
Just like, hey guys,
smug little smile, and I'm just like,
just climb under there and get the. Are we streaming? I think. All right, I think we're live again.
Sorry, guys.
My sincerest apologies, everyone. I'm gonna call Verizon tomorrow and I'm gonna rail on them.
Do it. Film it.
It appears we're live again. We're just taking some questions, so we're gonna answer some questions from you guys, and then we're probably gonna end the stream because clearly the internet is not behaving as we would hope it would. But let's do some questions. All right. So the question that was asked was anti-static gloves versus anti-static wristband. That was by John Gracia or Gimme Gold. And we both agreed that neither of us really use anti-static stuff very much. My reason is that I've never ever killed anything with electrostatic discharge.
Same.
So yeah, that's why I don't do it. I do pay attention to static electricity. I don't typically reach and pick up a motherboard or something unless I've done something like reach over and I go with the touch a plugged-in power supply method, which I'm gonna do right now. Hold on.
That's even more than I do.
You don't even do that?
No.
There. See? Now I'm electrostatically neutral. All right. Yeah, Paul
Whatever
says the
helps you
same
sleep
thing.
at
He
night.
hasn't used an anti-static in 20 years, and he's built hundreds of computers. All right.
I got a question from Christian.
Okay.
TechLoad. He's asking, what DSLR do you use? So I don't know if he's referring to the one you use right now or the one I use. But I use a 70D. And Paul, you use a...
I have a 5D Mark II.
That's what you're seeing right now.
That's what we're being recorded with.
That's what
right
keeps...
now.
That's the shutter that keeps shutting off.
Yeah, it's got an auto off on the shutter being open, which
think-
is why it turns off, and
I
then
think
Kyle has
the
to.
70D does that
Yeah.
too, though. So you're excused.
It does do that. Okay.
Every once in
Yeah,
a
so
while.
I'm gonna be looking for another streaming camera because I need something that's a little bit more reliable than that. Maybe an actual video camera rather than a DSLR. Although it does look pretty nice, I think.
It does.
I feel like it looks decent, hopefully. Oh yeah, Strider's asking, don't you have that one of those anesthetic mats though, Kyle?
I do. I have a mod mat. So
Hey, Kyle's got a mod mat.
I do always build on that thing. But it's almost like when I pull it out and I'm about to do a build. That sounds wrong, but it's usually it never crosses my mind for a safety reason. It's usually just because I just like the way it grips everything that I put down on it. Like I like the way that it grips the case. My table's kind of like this type of plastic material.
Yeah.
And it tends to slip around when I'm like screwing something down. But mod mat's great. I wish I want to get the bigger one that actually spans like 4 or 5 feet or something like that.
Yeah, those are great to build on. They
are.
keep things nice and clean.
They do.
Taz Dude asked, if money was not an issue, what would be the specs of your ultimate PC build? Right now, 5960X probably.
3 980s.
The only other option CPU-wise on a 5960X, if money is no
Xeon.
option, it would be Xeons, like dual Xeons. Like
Yeah.
Jerry just got something similar to that.
Yeah.
What
Custom
else?
water cool, all the things, of
Yeah,
course.
I mean everything would be custom water cooled.
That'd be the thing for me, because I
You'd-
pretty much
you'd go
have...
with like one of those massive towers,
Right.
like a 900D class
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Probably the highest.
Terabyte SSD.
Probably
Couple of them.
Asus X99 ROG R5 formula. No, R5E. The Rampage 5E. Probably the motherboard
X99.
for me.
64 gigs of...
Like 64 gig DDR4 memory kit.
Yep.
Probably like a G-Skill Ripjaws 4 or something like that. 4-way GTX 980s. I mean, I would never, even if I had money falling out of my butt, I probably wouldn't buy 4-way 980s because the fourth one would be kind of a waste. I'd probably more go with like a 3-way or even just a simpler 2-way configuration. But then I'd probably fill those extra slots with something else like a
Sound card or something like that.
or like an LSI RAID card
PCI.
with a big like hard drive array like a RAID 5, maybe with SSD caching or something, and like a capture card
And then definitely like a couple 4K monitors.
yeah,
I
several
need, like,
4K monitors.
3 4K monitors.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Definitely.
But yeah, you can kind of go crazy.
Paul, I'm a propos. What's up, buddy?
I am apropos.
I'm a propos. I like saying a propos.
It's either that or you can make the mild suggestion that it looks like his name is I am a pro POS.
I'm a
But
pro
we don't
piece of
suggest that. That was Jay. Jay told me that.
Wow,
by the way,
Jay.
Paul. That's.
Gosh, Jay, you should be ashamed
I
of yourself.
actually don't really think Jay told me that. I wanted to blame somebody else.
Might as well be Jay.
It's I am apropos.
Yes.
It's French.
So
It sounds French.
at any rate, Paul asks if we're planning on bringing on any special guests in the future. I think that's definitely a possibility.
I think
As long as we can fix the internet first. I
the
think
main thing preventing that is like just technical
Yeah.
issues.
And once that's solved, we would have no problem. We'd be more than happy to host a couple special guests here.
Yeah, I'd love to have guests on. Like, wait, Kyle's saying it correctly? Paul said that you're saying it.
I win.
I am a propose.
I win.
Apropos.
I'm a propos.
I am a propose.
Is that how I said it?
That's weird.
I definitely pronounced the S at the end.
Okay.
You're
I
trying
thought
to get all fancy.
No, that.
No, I know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Tardman, sorry you had to ask this twice. I saw it earlier, but we didn't have a chance. He has an AMD 860K and a GTX 760. What should he upgrade first? That's a good question. 860K is like, it's still passable. It's still decent.
You're fine either way.
I feel like those pair well together.
Yeah.
So I'd almost want to just wait until you could
Upgrade
spend
both.
more and yeah, get both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Andrew asks, what's your expo schedule this year? And are there any expos that you're not going to that you wish you were? I can answer this right off the bat. I know that, well, I don't want to answer your question, but I really wanted to go to Computex this year, but I probably won't be going because I have a wedding coming up in August, and planning that is almost as much work as running the channel. So I don't know if I'll have enough time to actually take 2 weeks off or a week and a half off to cover the event.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do enjoy Computex. I've been 2 years in a row, and I'm going to miss it dearly.
I will be going to Computex this year.
Bastard.
Damn
you.
That's already been lined up. Still looking for some more sponsors. If you're a sponsor and you're watching, you're probably not a sponsor and you're watching this. But yeah, definitely looking forward to Computex because I feel like there's the most product releases there on the PC side and the component side, and I'm looking forward. I had a lot of fun at CES this year, touring around with Tech Syndicate, and they're also supposed to go to Computex as well, and I'm supposed to also be kind of doing similar thing, just like hanging out with them and stuff and touring around. So that should be a lot of fun. And
you have to lick Kane for me because I owe him a lick.
Well, if I have to.
He licked me at CES.
Oh, okay.
And I never licked him back.
You got to get him back for that.
You got it. So I'm leaving it to you.
You must reciprocate the licking.
We've
learned that.
You'll be my reciprocator.
Yes. All right. So, Tartman is asking more questions. What do you think about an i7 4790K and a GTX 970? Yes, I think those are fantastic.
Go for it.
If you want to save a little, you can probably get by with a 4690K.
Yes.
For gaming. If you do editing, you might appreciate that 4790K a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay is a special guest.
Did you hear that?
Are you farting?
I just farted.
Jeez.
Did it pick up?
Kyle's really lowering the tone. Behaves all nice and with just fine manners during his segment of the show. Then during Paul's show, just cussing left and right. And good lord, that does not.
Me and my butt are here to sabotage you.
That's rank, Kyle. That's rank.
they'll talk.
Reviews by Gary, yes. Just sent an email over to John, the dude who does all of our t-shirt sales and tech syndicates as well. And I do have some 4X, 5X, and 6X shirts, or at least I've asked him to print some 4X, 5X, and 6X shirts. So I'm going to have some larger size shirts available. And if you want shirts, you can go to store.paulshardware.net. But I think we should wrap up this live stream.
Let's do it.
I have no idea how long we've been live streaming for, but I've had a fantastic time.
Me too. This has been fun. I can't wait to do this every week.
I can't wait to do it either. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing this again next week on Tuesday. Our plan is Tuesday evening. We have not come up with a set in stone time, so that's still a little bit flexible. We were thinking 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Pacific time.
Pacific time
Yeah.
would be good. That would be about 8 p.m. On the East Coast.
So we feel like that's still kind of early
yeah.
enough for all of you East Coasters. You know, I mean, no one really goes to bed at 8 p.m. unless you're my grandparents. So I feel like, you know, with an hour-long show, it'll be over at 9 for all of you people on the East Coast, and even earlier if you're on the West Coast or somewhere
Yes.
in between. But let us know what you guys think of that scheduling, if Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific works for you. And also, I guess, just your general opinions of the show. Obviously, this is a first run. Like I said, it's kind of like the pre-alpha tester. But let us know what worked for you, what didn't. We can take the criticism, as long as it's constructive and not super trolly. But I wouldn't expect that of any of you guys that are in the chat room anyway. So just let us know what you guys think. And this has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys for joining us. I know there was kind of like we alluded to it earlier on in the day, and it kind of took us a little bit of time to get there. But we really appreciate you guys sticking around and waiting to see the show through.
Yes, so feedback, if you can, you're going to be able to watch either section of the show. The part A, the beginning part, it will be on Kyle's channel. Part B is what you're watching now. It's on my channel in the future. So leave comments there and let us know what you thought of the show. If you have any feedback, if you have any ideas for other segments that we could kind of bring in here, because we want to kind of have little pieces that we can plop into shows here and there. We want to mix it up a little bit each time. But thank you guys all so much for watching, and we forgot everything that's not America.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Paul's Hardware. Subscribe to Awesome Sauce Network, to Kyle's channel as well. You can also follow either of our Twitch channels, apart from the Awesome Hardware channel, where we're going to be doing this show.
Yep.
Kyle also has Awesome Sauce Network, right, is your Twitch?
Yep, Awesome Sauce Network.
And I have Paul's Hardware as my Twitch as well. And our plan, although it is later than we originally thought, our plan is to stream some video games still later tonight.
Yeah.
But Kyle's going to go home first, so that's probably not going to be for an hour to an hour and a half-ish.
Right. A little on the late side. I'm going to talk to my fiance and see how she's feeling, kind of get a feel for the mood, and I will let Paul promptly know whether or not I can game tonight.
So Kyle won't be able to make it, but we do appreciate.
I'm going to try my best. All right? No promises.
I understand.
I'm going to try.
I understand. All right, but yeah, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you all next week. Hope you've enjoyed the Awesome Hardware.
Thanks for watching, guys. We love you.
A live show.
Goodbye. Good night.